Hi everyone. Today I want to make a few cards with the new Inspired Thoughts stamp set, and it has a little coordinating die collection called Inspiring Canopy. And the interesting thing about this collection is that the dies do not cut out the stamps at all. The stamps are only word stamps and they're really nice. If you take a moment to look at them really closely, you'll see that there's kind of a variety of sentiments here for different occasions, and I like that some of them work together. For example, you could put something like peace, love, joy on the outside of your card, and then on the inside bring in this one about wishing you all the beautiful gifts of Christmas. And then here you've got with heartfelt sympathy, and there's another sympathy sentiment here. Sheltering you with love at a time when words fall short, and that's nice. And then I like the healing thoughts, and thinking of you on your special day could kind of work as a birthday, but it can also work as a congratulations, which there is right here. There's a simple little hello, a thank you. So it's really a nice little sentiment collection, so I really like that because I always feel like I could use more sentiments. And then the dies are trees, which I love trees. I love tree sets, fall sets. Anytime I can do fall leaves, I'm happy. So this was really fun, and I wanted to grab this. Now there are 2 tree sets in the new catalog, so I want to briefly show you the other one. The other one actually has tree stamps, you'll see, and you can use this tree here, this stamp, as an evergreen tree, and don't put a stem on it, or a trunk I should say, or go ahead and put a trunk on it and then it becomes a big tall tree. So I like both of these stamps, and I couldn't decide, do I want the dies for this, do I want this one, and I ended up getting both. Let me show you the dies that go with this one. They're a little different. Oop, I lost one. So both have tree dies, so it's kind of like you'll have to decide which one you like, and or get both like I did if you really love your trees. So there's really so many beautiful things in the new catalog. I really wanted to show you these trees first because I think they're my fave. Anyway, so here's this one, and I'm gonna be making plenty with this one too, so check back. But I wanted to do my first cards with this one because I really like the versatility of these dies. I like that there's a row of trees, and I think that's really fun. And I thought, you know, winter, spring, summer, fall, you can do all kinds of seasons. I liked the size of these trees. So I want to show you what I came up with. So I wanted to do different seasons. So here I started with spooky. I went with a Halloween theme, and we'll make this one together in a moment. And so here you can see that the trees can be done in a Halloween-ish looking setting. Here's a spring looking setting with some little buds coming out on the trees. Here's a winter look, and there's that peace, love, joy, and that's fun. Just a white. This one was so easy. It's a 2-second card really. And then here a fun little well, I guess it's sympathy, so fun might not be the word, but just showing the trees kind of in their basic way. And then this one is using that sheltering you with love at a time when words fall short. I really like the tree here and this little sunburst. Now I got the idea for the sunburst directly from the catalog, and I like to do that. It's really a fun way to get to know a stamp, is to start to recreate some of the catalog pieces. So we're going to make a couple of those different ones together, and I want to show you another way. As you can see in the spring one here, I used just a basic background here of pool party, but there is a new designer series paper collection that I want you to see. If you love trees sets as much as I do, you're going to want to take a look at this. So this is called The Beauty of the Earth. Okay, and you've got this one here with trees, but on the back is the sky. Oh, whoops, no it's not. What's on the back of this one? I think this one has the ground, yes. So a beautiful watercolor wash of greens, and then on the other side you've got these trees. Really fun. But look at the sky, I love that. So this would be a great background, so we're going to do that on a card. Okay, and then behind the back of that, super nice fall look to it. This looks like a close-up of a leaf pile, doesn't it? So you can imagine cutting out some of these branches directly out of the paper and that would be fun to show different fall colors. Alright, then we've got this one. This is kind of a fun look. If you, I mean, when you cut it up for card fronts, you're not going to see this anymore, but if you notice, all the branches kind of go in. It's like you're laying on the ground looking up at these treetops. Kind of fun. And on the back. Okay, and then this one's got your winter tops of trees. Love that. And on the back, just some pretty leaves. Everybody can use those. I think I showed that one. And here's another, this is a different green, tops of green trees. And on the back, this is a fun one. You can kind of imagine cutting it down the center and then making 6 card front backgrounds with that really fun background. Okay, and then here we've got a nice little wood grain piece. I like that. And here's some more trees. So anyway, really fun paper set. And I thought we would go ahead and use that on some trees. So let's go ahead and make some cards together. I want to first do those wash backgrounds, those watercolor. And what I like to do is tape down some of my watercolor paper. I use washi tape. It's easy to get on and off, and it's just what I have on hand. There's some painter's tape that would be nice too. I like to tape it down because it starts to curl up sometimes when you use a lot of water. So I'm just kind of making sure this stays. And so I'm just going to do a couple backgrounds and then let it dry, and then we'll put them together. So for the first one is just that really simple winter card. And so I'm grabbing Misty Moonlight. And I like to work right out of the lid of my stamps. So let me find my Misty Moonlight ink because I need some more. Okay. Now if you don't like to work right out of that, you can put your re-inker in a little watercolor well of some kind. Or sometimes you can ink up a clear block and work right off of that. So I'm going to get the watercolor paper a little damp first. I don't want it super wet, but I do want it to be a little damp. And then I'm going to make sure when you, these are, I should say, Stampin' Up! Water painters, and you put water inside and then you give them a little squeeze and the water runs out. There's a nice gasket in here that kind of helps control the flow. So sometimes if you buy cheap ones of these in the store, they don't have that, and you can have a mess on your paper. I like these, but I didn't fill it up before I started my video. I should have added more water. Okay, so I'm just going to, I've got lots of water on my brush, and I'm going to just do a really quick brush across. And you can put as much or as little color as you like on this. I'm doing super light, fast wash. And starting darker at the top, and you can see that the ink got lighter as I went down, and you can decide if you want to add some more to your brush, but I do not. I want this to be really light. Actually, I might add some more dark at the top. Okay, so that's the first one, just a simple wash background. That's it. I'm going to leave that alone. And now for, here, I'll flip this so it's on the screen. For the Halloween one, I did Night of Navy and Gorgeous Grape. And this is empty, so I'm going to get my old one. I have so many of these on my desk because I really do use them constantly. This is the old style one. Okay, so for this one, let me throw some more Night of Navy in there. Probably there's enough. As you can see, I paint out of my ink pads all the time, so I tend to have kind of a mess inside. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to do the similar thing. I'm going to squeeze the barrel to get water down there, and then I'm going to just kind of wet my paper, but I don't want it to be dripping wet. I don't want there to be puddles. And then I'm going to pick up some of this navy. Now this one I do want dark. I want this to be a dark background. That's my favorite part, when it starts to bleed, by the way. I love that. And I'm just going to get lots of deep navy all over this. Now while it's still wet and that navy is still wet, I'm going to grab that gorgeous grape. So to rinse between colors, I'm just going to simply go over, you can use a paper towel. This is my stamp cleaner, Stampin' Scrub. I'm just going to get water in the barrel and just kind of go across the bristles, and that removes the navy ink. So I want to work fast because I want this to still be wet. And I'm going to add just little bits of purple, and that grape is going to kind of come through in this night sky. And just think of different colors you can throw in there. Maybe you want to do oranges. Now, as you can see, when I work with these two colors, I did get a little navy in my lid. And that doesn't bug me because, like I said, I do this all the time. So, but you can wipe it out with a paper towel before you close it so you don't get permanent ink colors in there. Now I'm going to add more dark navy because I really want this to be dark. Okay, that looks fun. Now, before I let it completely dry, I'm going to grab my Wink of Stella, and this is a really old one, so there's hardly any left in it, and so I kind of don't mind what I'm doing here. I'm squeezing it to get a lot on the brush. I love that glimmer. And then I'm going to take it over to the cap and flick it onto this kind of still wet. You see how it just kind of, Wink of Stella has like alcohol in it, so for the water kind of, the ink wants to repel from that, and it gets you these really fun splatters. And you can do as many or as little as you like. I love the bigger globs. You can imagine this as a galaxy sky. Okay, now this one, I don't want it to be so spooky galaxy looking. I want more snowflakes, so I let this one dry before I'm going to add my splatter, but I am going to still add splatter. These are more like snowflakes coming down. I squeeze over a block just because I don't want to plop a bunch onto my project. Sometimes you never know, you might get a big drip. You might not want this. So for this one, notice I'm not getting as dramatic a splatter. That's because I've let the paper dry and I'm getting a nice little misting of snow on my background here. Okay, and then if you want to clean your cap, you can take a Q-tip or tissue and clean it. Like I said, this is my really old one, so I'm not real concerned about it. Okay, so here we go with these two. Now, this one's pretty dry, so we'll start here. I'm just going to peel away my washi tape. If you use some kind of tape to tape down your pieces, when you peel away from your project. So peel off to the sides and peel down. That way, if it does stick, you know, it's not going to rip into your project. It'll maybe rip some of the paper going away, which is not as big of a deal. And if you wanted, you can even trim the edges off, which I think I might do on the snowy one. Okay, so we're going to take this one off. And again, I'm going to go see how I'm pulling. Let me make sure I'm on camera here. I'm pulling away from my project because that way if it rips, it doesn't rip into the color. Washi tape very rarely rips for me though, so there we go. Okay, these are our two backgrounds. Now, the winter one will finish super fast. Because all we're going to do, and I already cut it out, the line of trees, we're just going to mount those down directly on top of our background here. Now I'm mounting this onto Misty Moonlight, and I think I planned anyway to cut the edges off. Let me see what yeah, I'm going to trim the edges. Okay, so we're just going to tape this down. Now, normally I don't put quite as much adhesive on the back, but sometimes watercolor paper, because I've put that water on it, it buckles a little bit, so I want it to stay flat. So I put more adhesive than usual on the back. And then for our tree line, I might have to snip just a tiny bit off. And here, I just kind of go down the trunks. And just occasionally throw some glue behind some of the branches. You don't have to get every branch. Sometimes I throw a black down when I'm letting that sit for a minute. Okay, now that Peace, Love, Joy gets stamped on a little scrap. And then I thought I would cut out the end with my Pick-a-Punch. Let's see. There we go. Give it a nice little banner end. I cut a little high because I want to put a bow around it. Here I'm using this really nice Misty Moonlight and white baker's twine that's wrapped with silver, so it gives a little shine, perfect for this wintry card. And this is from the last catalog, but it carried over, so that's nice. I already had it. Oop, that's a leftover scrap. Let's see if I can make it work. Sometimes if I have a little bit left, I put it on the roll. It might not be long enough. All right, Beth. You know, when you're doing something on video, it always is harder. Oh, I think this is going to be enough. Yay. So hard to tie a tiny bow, though. Okay, I got my bow on there. Yay. Alright, and that's just going to go here in the corner with a dimensional. And then you could decorate the inside if you wanted with that other Christmas stamp from the same collection. I'm not going to do that right now because I'm going to make another card with you. We're going to do our Halloween one. Okay, so for this one, I want it to be spooky. I'm going to mount it on black. Okay, and this time I'm going to leave the white border. I think that looks nice against the black, so I intentionally did not cut that off. Okay, and this time I cut out my row of trees out of some black cardstock and put that down. Now what I want to do here is I want to make some of the gravestones, and I want to show you how I made that. And that is using, again, that Pick-a-Punch. Now there are three different different versions of these punches, and each of them have 2 different style ends. I hope you can see it because of that shine. It's hard to see what I'm talking about. But this one makes your typical banner edge, and this one kind of makes the pointed reverse. And then there's another collection here that makes some pretty intricate ends, and that's what I'm using for my gravestones. And there's yet another variety of these that I am amazed that I don't have. When I was making this card, one of them has a really good looking tombstone edge, and so I was going to grab it, and then I realized, you know what, I don't have that one. It's kind of surprising for me not to have a punch, so you know that'll come on my next order. So in my giant bag of scraps, I always have these little strips left over from something, and they're great for adding a sentiment or something to a card. So I used this one, which is just a little 1/2-inch end. Oops. Sometimes it's best to look behind and make sure you're lined up properly. And that gave me 1 tombstone end. And then I used the other side, the other pattern, for yet another tombstone. And then I wanted to go thicker, so I looked in my scrap bin and I found a 1/2-inch. Alright, there's my tombstones. And then I just wanted to give them a little roughing up, so I grabbed some smoky slate and a sponge. And just kind of distressed the tombstones a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to glue down my trees. Okay, and my thought process with the tombstones being different size are that the ones in the foreground are going to be bigger because they're closer to us, and then I have these 2 littler ones, which I'm saying are further back. So I'm going to throw some glue. Actually, I'll make these a little smaller. I'm going to throw some glue behind the tombstone, and these I want kind of behind, kind of like they're back further because they're smaller. And that's why I want to do this while the trees are still damp. Okay, so I've got those further back, and then these I'm going to say are closer, so that's why they're bigger. Telling myself a little story behind my card, right? And if you want to turn them a little, you could. Okay. That is my Halloween. Oh, we got to add our boo. So again, I'm using scraps. I love using my scraps. Now the boo is from Banner Year, and this is a really great stamp set. It has a lot of your Thanksgiving, which you never see. It's hard to find Thanksgiving stamp. You've got that in there. You got some Merry. You've got like basically your winter holidays, and there's the boo. There's also a fun inside, Happy Haunting. So I like that. So anyway, this is boo, and originally this stamp set was sold with this Pick-a-Punch. It was part of a bundle. It's not anymore, but take a look at it because the words are meant to go on little strips of paper. So this is how you use up your little scraps. So let me make my boo, and then you have to decide where do you want your boo. Maybe I'll do it up top this time, or do I like it down below? Well, I don't know. And you know, I'm using orange for Halloween, but you can also do a purple. Gorgeous grape would be fun. So, oops, that's too low. Oh, and I shouldn't have cut it because now it's too hard to hold on to. I should not have cut the end off of that before flagging this end, but I did. we go. Yep, I'm going to put it up top just to change it up a little bit. And then on the inside you can do your happy haunting. Let's do it. Let's throw a bat on there too, since there's a bat in the set. There's also a spider web. Lots of fun things. I thought about putting a spider web on one of the gravestones, and I kind of forgot. Okay, so there's our Halloween version with those dies. Really fun. We made a Christmas version, we made a Halloween version. Now let's make, here. And I'll have all these up at my blog so that you don't have to pause the video or anything. Okay, so now I want to make kind of this version, but with some designer series paper, and I wanted to try a different thing with the leaves. So this one is going to be one I didn't try ahead of time, which maybe is a bad idea when you're doing a video. We will see. But I thought, let me move this stuff out of the way first. Okay, I thought it would be fun to use that paper because I just really love this guy. So in the die set, you get a little swoosh. Let me find it again. Right here, which you can use to cut kind of a landscape. Now you could just snip it with your scissors, but if you're a perfectionist, you might want to try cutting it with the die. And isn't that fun? Just kind of like a little paper piece. Let me trim this down to match. And then of course when I cut the strip, I got two, so I can do another card. So for my background this time, I'm just going to use the dies, and it looks really fun, doesn't it? And I've already cut out my trees like this. And something you can do that I saw in the catalog is you can actually even cut the trees apart. Now this works better when you're not going to do something like this. See how these are very open, and you can see a lot of the branches, and you can carefully cut some branches. Or if you're going to put a lot of leaves on top of the branches, you can cut it and you can use just 3 of the trees. And that's what I'm going to do here. I want to cut one out and just use 3 of the trees. So you're just going to snip away like so. And then I can use this one on another card, which we'll be doing next. And then you can decide what do you want to keep here and what do you want to get rid of. All right, I'm going to put these down. Okay. Now, you have to decide what you're going to do with these branches. And I haven't at this point. So, you can layer. Now, when you do these canopy pieces, I want to point out that there are 4 shapes. And there's a long one, and kind of a fat one, and then a really skinny, narrow one. And then there's one more. Where is it? I already showed you that one. There it is. So, I was not... You know, it doesn't say where they go. You know, you kind of have to play with it. So this one is kind of looks like the top of a tree, and so you can kind of do that as a top of a tree. I love that there are these openings that you can see the branches through, because that just really adds to that feeling of dimension. So you're going to want to just play with these branches, and you can decide, do you want them all the same color? I thought maybe these could be like cherry blossoms, or, you know, I have a, you know, we all have different types of trees in our yards. So you can kind of play around with the idea that there's some pink blossoms going on, and then you can even use a couple different colors of the blossoms. And so you've got some pink, like so, and I didn't cut enough of the pink. So you've got that as an idea. I think I will cut some more of that pink. Okay, how am I going to do my trees? So, something else in the die are these little parts that can pop up too. So you can really go crazy with how detailed you want your trees to be. They're really fun. All right, let's just start putting them down. I think the hardest part is trying to decide where to put down your leaves. Okay, so now I'm going to make a sentiment for this one. And I'm going to do, I think, sending healing thoughts your way. I'm going to go with soft suede since that's my tree trunk. This is a strip from my scrap bag, and it's 1 inch, just in case you were wondering. Okay, that's really fun. I like that one. I made so many cards with these trees already, and so I know that it's going to be a fun one. Now the last one I want to show you, I'll do pretty fast hopefully. I want to show you how to make that little sunburst. Oh, I forgot to put the moon behind my my spooky one. I wonder if I could. I just saw the full moon sitting on my desk. I wonder if I could slip it in there. Let's see if I have any tweezers around. No. They're buried. My desk is a mess. There, I got it poking back there. Okay, so the last one I want to do shows you how to do that sunburst. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut out on a post-it note one of those little circle moons from the die. And I have one cut out somewhere. I'll have to do another. And then you're going to grab another post-it and a sponge or one of the blending brushes, and you're just going to move your post-it around in a sun shape. So let me show you what I mean. Oh, now I found my first moon. Okay, so you're going to grab a yellow of some sort. This is Bumblebee. then you're just going to kind of go like this, and it's going to create this line of where it's harsher. So that was this way. Then you're going to go half. I like to start on the Post-it note and then work my way towards the cardstock. Just kind of keeps you from getting like a harsh blurb. Okay, so that's, we did up and we did across. So now we're going to do like an X pattern. And one more. Now you can do as many rays as you so choose. I'm only doing a cross and an X. Okay, now this one here didn't get any little sun, just happened to use different sides. So I just kind of go over the whole thing so that they all have a little bit of the yellow in them. And they kind of fade out. Try to avoid getting super harsh lines all the way down because you want it to fade out. This is going to be empty over here. So then you're going to remove your Post-it and you've got a nice little sunburst. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and use that single tree that's left over from when we made the last card and we cut this one off. And the fact that it's kind of messed up is okay because we're going to cover that one with a lot of branches. So let's glue that down. Okay, and then we're just going to layer our branches right on top. You can do here, I've got a couple different greens if you want to do multiple greenery, different greens showing, like we did the different pinks, or you can go all with one shade. You could even add some sponging detail if you want to do that. Make some fall leaves, however you want to do it. I need a new glue. Hoping to finish this one off. So for this one I did something different with my tree layers. I went with the large piece in the center and the smaller one on top. You can kind of play around with these and see what you end up liking best. I'm not sure there's a right way or a wrong way. Come on, glue. You can do it. It's going to be covered. I'm going to cut this. Okay. I made this frame earlier. I made a bunch of them because I've been working on this, and this is from the stitched rectangle frames. So I went, there's another size in between, so I kind of skipped a size to make a thicker frame. And we're going to use that around our tree, so I'm going to cut off the side. And I'm using a crumb cake base. Okay, and then our frame. Alright, new glue. Try that one again later. Do I have a new glue? Okay, and then our sentiment. Oops, that one's. I have all these so close to being finished glues. Killing me. Now here, I already made up my sentiment. It says, sheltering you with love at time when words fall short. I really like that one. It's nice to have some sympathy or thinking of you type cards on hand. And I wanted to bridge across, so I've got that. And then, with the sheltering you with love, I was thinking of hearts, and I was thinking of, do I have any little hearts? And you can look through your dies. Maybe you've got little tiny heart dies or little tiny heart punches. Then I remembered in the current spring mini catalog, there are these little resin hearts. Now, this catalog goes in through June. This is in the snail mail collection, and so you've got another month and a half to pick up these little resin hearts, and they're super cute, and they look like apples in your tree, but they're hearts, and how sweet is that? So you can do like 5 or so hearts in your tree. I wanted them to all be facing kind of the correct heart way to make sure that people know they're hearts. And you can decide how many your tree needs. It might need another one up high. Yep, I think it does. There we go. Sheltering you with love at a time when words fall short. Super nice. Really fun die collection, and the sentiments are great too. So I really hope that you'll check out the Inspired Canopy bundle, and I will have all of these up at my blog so you can get a good look at them. And if you have any questions, I lost my winter one, feel free to let me know. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll subscribe to my channel and come back again. Bye!